Dc59, The Land of the Mirrors. Soul-touching and life-enhancing stories. The Land of the Mirrors. Quintana, who was an eternal force of light and love, lived all by himself in the realm of mirrors. Wherever he looked, up or down, left or right, behind him or in front, there were endless beautiful and magical and over-dimensional mirrors. As Quintana was so full of light, it became even brighter when he looked inside the mirrors, because his light reflected and multiplied itself endlessly. One day, moving around in his realm of light and mirrors, it became so bright that he lost clear sight where he was going, and by accident bumped into one of the mirrors. The mirror scattered in uncountable pieces, but not just that. The pieces had gotten colors. Quintana wondered how he could get the mirror back in one piece, which was one problem, and the other was to get the mirror back in its original state, which had no colors. While trying to fix the mirror, he had difficulties. It was as if the pieces just didn't want to be together again. And instead of getting frustrated, he started to play around with all the pieces, like a child would do. Sitting on one of the huge mirrors, he started with the small pieces of mirrors to create universes and galaxies, with planets floating in mid-air, and on some of them he created landscapes. The soil and roads, the plants and trees, the rivers and lakes, and the valleys and the mountains, all was beautiful, made out of small pieces of mirrors. He chose different colors for different things, and he thought it was incredible what he had created. Even more amazing was that everything he had created was alive, and this was actually logical, because his love and light was still in each of these small mirror pieces. Quintana was so excited that he continued to create villages and cities, and even cities with skyscrapers, and the next step was to create creatures. In the end, he even came up with creating individuals. He called them magical mirror people. Although it was a very special creation, these mirror people had no imagination. They had no creativity, no visions, and they were no great adventure people, and were actually very boring individuals. As everything he had created moved by himself, he wanted to have these individuals to have a mind of their own, so to speak. He gave them all a triangular-shaped opening in between their two physical eyes, which was an opening to a room inside their heads, which was the world of mirrors, projecting itself in the outside world. So the basic thing they were all seeing was reflections of mirrors, and this was most boring to him, and also for them, he thought. It needed to be something different. The next thing he started to create was endless small, very small triangular-shaped mirror boxes that would fit in that opening between their eyes. And each box held information regarding thoughts, words, places, faces, skills, and endless row of other things that would allow these mirror people to act on their own. In this creation, he imagined some magical-looking magicians who would be in charge of these boxes. Quintana was fascinated with his entire creation, which was floating in front of him, and as he stood up and jumped for joy, he lost his balance again and crashed into his creation, and all of it scattered all over the place. This woke him up from being inside his creative mode, and it dawned on him that he had been wanting to put back the broken mirror, which was now even more scattered, and he was thinking how to put it all back, being even more difficult. Many pieces had disappeared inside the other over-dimensional mirrors, and he had no idea where they went, although he had a vague idea what happened. These pieces of his realm, and basically from himself, were out on an adventure, and he fell in a state of dream, and at the same time watching his creations that had now a life on its own. In the meantime, these small triangle mirror boxes had ended up in the hands of magicians, who were selling them to the bored mirror people. To get visions, feelings, skills, and imaginations, they went to these magicians. The magicians, and there were plenty of them, each having their own shop, offered many small triangular-shaped mirror boxes, which contained the magic, as it was called. The moment a box was installed, the individual looking around saw a projection, like a film, coming out of the opening between their eyes. Whatever information was stored in that box was instantly active in the world of mirrors on the outside. Everything became real, and they entered a world where they could feel that information which was in the box, and they were able to experience it. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for that individual to be satisfied, for soon they again became bored, and would go back to the same magician or to another magician to find more adventures. However, after exchanging with new boxes, the information of the old ones would stay stored in the memory of the little chamber inside their head, located in their forehead. Once something was experienced, you could not take that information out anymore, but got pushed in the background when a new box with new information was placed. There were so many magicians and endless boxes, and everybody was being busy in this way, day in, day out, and year in, year out. It seemed that everybody was looking for something that would satisfy long term, but nothing coming forth from these small triangular-shaped mirrored boxes made that come through. As a reaction of this, most individuals stopped going for new boxes and just stayed with the old, which brought them some sense of security and control, which actually was false, of course, but as a result, they lost the sense of adventure regarding new experiences. The magicians slowly disappeared one by one, as there were no customers anymore, and most of them fell for the same, the common, the norm, and they too had to deal with that inner boredom, with here and there a short-lived uplift of a sense of taste, sound, or happening. Among these mirrored people lived a woman called Raja, and her name she received with her first installation of her first small triangular-shaped mirror box. At least that was as far as she could remember, and like all others, she had been busy with visiting the magicians and buying new experiences. She also had stopped these adventures like the others and just stayed with the familiar. Although not the only one amongst the mirrored people, she sat up for hours during the night, trying to figure out something she had not even a question about. It was a blur of scattered information or impressions that floated through her mind, in which she could not find peace. On one night she made up her mind to search for a magician, with the hope to find one who could help her with her dilemma. During her search she came across several magicians, but they all were unable to help her, until one day she visited a magician named Makan. At first sight Raja felt something familiar, and which made her very serene. It was a feeling that her search was over, but it was not until Makan told her the story of the creation, the land of mirrors, and gave her a small triangular-shaped mirror box to confirm his information. At the moment Raja installed the box, his story was confirmed. She saw Quintana busy with the small mirror pieces and making the small triangular-shaped mirror boxes, and all that had happened after. Makam told Raja that he had come across one of these special boxes, which he had first installed in himself, and after he had seen the truth, he had become a messenger of Quintana, to assist others to find out what he had experienced. At that moment there came so much light inside her, and in addition, an eternal love came over her, and it was confirmed that she had found what she had been looking for. The only thing that was left was Quintana, who was inside all the mirrors she was made of. Then all the pieces of mirrors she was made of flew right back into Quintana's hand, in the real realm of mirrors, and Raja was no more, only Quintana. Quintana was happy that his idea to find and to get slowly back all his lost mirrors was working. It was now just a matter of time before the old scattered mirror was getting back together, because he knew that all these pieces that had gotten alive on their own were not happy in their new form and world. Eventually, they all wanted to be together again. What the story could bring us. We all live in separation and are scattered within our mind all over the place. Not just separated from nature, separated from our own body, others, and the world, but separated from our true and real self and the Creator. When we understand this and feel this separation, the process of unity and uniting will start to happen. And parallel, we have to become inward, focused again.